Working for WWE must be incredibly tough, but you'll feel even worse for some performers after seeing some of the rules they must adhere to. 10 weird WWE rules enforced on wrestlers. Owning a wrestling name and gimmick. WWE loves to own everything that a performer has. Name, gimmick, the whole lot, and this makes it harder for them to make a name for themselves outside of the WWE. Few performers like CM Punk, Samoa Joe, and AJ Styles have managed to keep their names. But throughout his reign on top, Vince has loved his performers to be his creation only. Perhaps this will continue to change, but throughout history, this has been a big issue between McMahon and several performers. Rare days off. WWE stars are on the road 300 days a year, so it may surprise you that Vince McMahon is constantly pushing and asking his stars to go beyond this. There are countless examples from the 80s and 90s of wrestlers working 30 or more consecutive days without rest. This may not be a rule for all, but with the strict schedule and performers even today have, it's amazing to think that McMahon expects more and more from all of his stars. Don't change your travel plans. We have seen this in recent times, but plans can change in the WWE at Vince's whim, and changing your travel plans only encourages this, apparently. Road Warrior Animal was once threatened for changing his flight plan from 7 a.m. to later in the same day, which is incredibly strict. When you consider that wrestlers are on the road 300 days a year, getting more rest here and there would seem beneficial, but not to Vince McMahon. Dress code. This one has seemingly gone away lately, but in the 80s and 90s, WWE stars had a very strict dress code. It was said that Road Warrior Animal was almost once fined for wearing jeans on a plane. With the fans knowing more about the business and increased exposure, it makes sense that they have relaxed on these policies. But it's highly likely that many stars today would be fined for the way they dressed on the road. Sneezing is a no-no. Now you may think this is a joke, but you wouldn't be alone, as many backstage personalities made fun of this also. This was due to Vince's durability as a workaholic, as he felt anyone sneezing around him would prevent him from doing his job 100%. Regardless, Jim Ross and many others find his anger towards sneezing laughable, giving some credence to his reputation as a crazy man. No pay for doing nothing. Many performers in the WWE actually don't have guarantees in their contracts, and this is something Vince McMahon used wisely. Unless you were a top star, Vince McMahon felt like he didn't need to pay you unless you earned your weekly paycheck. In the 90s, a performer by the name of J.J. Dillon was paid for only 1 week's work during 1994 and 1995, and claimed McMahon told him he can't pay you for doing nothing. No health benefits for former wrestlers. The WWE is a dangerous business, and unless you're a major star like John Cena or The Rock, you won't be set for life after a career in the Big E. This leaves many performers needing to find work after performing in the WWE just to survive. Most famously, Mick Foley recently revealed that he didn't have the health insurance to cover a recent hip surgery, despite being on a Legends contract and working today on television. Having to lick your wounds. Wrestling is different today than it was in the past, and for the health and safety of the wrestlers, that's definitely a good thing. Back in the 80s and 90s, and even in the early part of the 2000s, injuries were seen as a weakness by Vince, so you had to keep going and take care of yourself. Due to this culture created by McMahon, seeing the doctors was discouraged, as they were there to primarily dish out medication. You don't talk about injuries publicly. This one really didn't come up until 2014 when CM Punk left the WWE, as he tore shreds from the entire WWE medical staff in the podcast with Colt Cabana. The WWE have sued Punk in the wake of his defamation, and it has been revealed that this is a rule now in WWE. Vince has reportedly told active performers not to discuss their injuries, although this stance has weakened in recent years with the amount of social media around WWE. Don't use the word wrestler. Before the arrival of stars like Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and Finn Balor, this was the cardinal sin in the WWE for announcers or performers alike. This is because Vince McMahon prides himself on producing sports entertainment rather than wrestling, which most fans know it and love it as. Thinking back to Joey Styles' exit from WWE TV in 2006, and this was one of his main gripes, but thankfully the company have eased off in the past few years. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, Vince McMahon isn't completely crazy. He did give us the XFL, the gobbledygooker, and many great hornswoggle reveals.